Mainstream media outlets in the UK have removed stories discussing the investigation into Dan Wootton. Why? Because his lawyers scared them. This is some scary stuff, guys. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I'm going to say it again. I say it every time I talk about him. Dan Wootton is innocent until proven guilty. I know he still has a lot of supporters due to his political beliefs, his stance on Meghan Markle, but I will admit my bias also up here on top that I find him so hypocritical and phony and disingenuous, given what he did to Johnny Depp and given his recent apologies that he clearly didn't mean. But where this story takes a scary turn, in my opinion, is the fact that he has now been able to go get The Guardian, Mirror, and others to take down stories about him. Staggering that 3 established media publications have now deleted their stories about the Met Police investigation into Dan Wootton. I mean, what? This is the same place, mind you, the UK, that has been all over Russell Brand with the allegations. And again, they're clearly all allegations, but I guess now in the UK, you can't report on allegations if you work for it. Like, how is Dan Wootton getting away with this? And if you don't believe it, here it is. Police investigating allegations. Dan Wootton solicited explicit things. Let's go click on that. Let's see where it takes us. Removed article. This article was removed on October 3rd. I mean, this is possible? Aaron Couch, the reporter, how many times did I have to ask you to update my article, which you refused to do, and then you blocked me. But now I didn't know if we could just get him removed just on allegations alone? This is nuts. How is this happening? This is wild, guys. And it's not just there. I go to Yahoo News. That page you're looking for isn't here. Try searching above. This was shocking to me. Shocking. And now, removed. What's going on here? So I want to break down. Skib here did a wonderful thread, and we're going to get to it, but he brings down a lot of information about this. And thank you to Hardeep over there at Byline Times as well. The two of them brought in some wonderful reporting. Let's gather and see what's going on here. So, publication said they handed a 28-page dossier of evidence to the police in June, and the detectives from Complex Investigation Team of the Met's Central Specialist Crime Division are now looking into the allegations. I think it's safe to say we have seen the last of Mr. Wootton. Life comes at you fast. Mr. Wootton was temporarily suspended by Mail Online after the allegations and is now sacked by them. It seems Mr. Wootton may need to find another career. We certainly wish him all the best. As if things were not bad enough, he did a fundraiser to fight the dark forces that he labeled. The fundraiser raised $35,000. It's no longer active, according to the Daily Mail. And now things are getting even worse. The thing about the Wootton story is, you can quote me on this, that in a couple months, we're only just scraping the surface. But now here's where things take a turn. Again, innocent until proven guilty, Dan. I got to say it. But now, update. Guardian, other mainstream outlets which reported on the police investigation have now removed the articles. According to Hardeep, they have removed their stories about the police investigation. Could be the slap or pressure, who knows? Media from Dan Wootton's home country, New Zealand, is also reporting the investigation. The pressure is high. Maybe we'll get more names. One thing to be clear, because same here, conservative anti-Meghan, follow me. I've never liked Wootton. I agree. Yes, I believe innocent until proven guilty, but this courtesy does not extend to Mr. Wootton because he himself does not believe in that. Depp, Phil, and others are in front of you. I believe reporting by Byline is solid, especially the Martin Branding part, hoisted by with his own petard, they call it. So don't regurgitate those points of me. I'm with here, and Skib, I agree. I get a lot of people like Dan Wootton, but this isn't looking good, and he's a complete hypocrite. So now here we get into the juicy. All right, so it seems Dan Wootton's lawyers are reaching out to different media outlets, and this explains why they disappeared overnight. Oddly enough, the threat of Wootton's lawyers, not sent to us, actually confirmed the story. Just to note, this is clear slap territory. No proceedings have been initiated against us in contrast with Brand, which is interesting there. Take that as you will. Brand is not doing this. Russell Brand is not, and apparently could get all of these things shut down, which would then take it to a court. So that's interesting. Dan Wootton is like, I'm going to take this to court, or he's just so cocky he doesn't realize what he's doing, and then that's going to blow up in his face. But Dan is now shutting them down. We act for Dan Wootton. We refer to your message, indicating by intention to repeat information published by Byline Times about our client. In Bloomberg LP, the Supreme Court made it clear that any person under criminal investigation has, prior to being charged, a reasonable expectation of privacy in respect of information relating to that investigation. In publishing our client's name this evening, Byline Times has breached our client's rights in that regard. They will now face the consequences of doing so in court. Were you in these circumstances to do likewise, you would be joined to that claim as a defendant. Given this clear and unambiguous warning, you would also face aggravated and or exemplary damages and a punitive order for costs on the indemnity basis. We would urge you to exercise restraint and act ethically in accordance with the law. Should you do otherwise, do not be surprised if you face the expense of litigation yourself. So look, this is fascinating. So out in the UK, they can charge legal fine, like, hey, because this is now under criminal investigation, prior to being charged, it is a reasonable expectation of privacy in respect of information relating to that investigation. Technically, this is also happening to Russell Brand. So in theory now, no one should be reporting on Russell Brand or Dan Wootton because there's a criminal investigation happening. So any news now is off limits? How is that right? I can't wrap my head around this. And it's interesting, if this is the case and Russell Brand could have done this, and if he's innocent, why didn't he do this? Now, does that mean Dan Wootton's innocent? Article 8 extends only to a person's private life rather than the reputation as part of their business. Yeah, exactly. People were only named based on police reports without being reported, in which there is a reasonable expectation, not with Brand or Wootton. Exactly. So this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous what Dan Wootton is doing. And there are still some people who are going against it and reporting. Here is the Standard, Evening Standard, GB News, the grubby tale of Desperate Dan and a slide to the right. Wootton thought he was untouchable, one former employee says. I want to get that quote. When the channel launched, he was more nervy and uncertain. Sorry, hold on. But the more he got away with, the more he insisted on controlling everything. He'd squash you if you didn't toe his line. As Lawrence Fox's tweets showed, Wootton had been briefed on Fox's plan to attack journalist Ava Evans on her comments. Yep, he knew. Wootton not only smirked, laughed, and failed to counter the tirade, but according to GB News employees, ignored orders from producers delivered increasingly frantically over his earpiece to stop Fox, counter his claims, and eventually to apologize to viewers after Fox had finished. We had a management calling in during the show telling us to get Dan to do something, but he just ignored us, junior staffer said. We added an apology on the auto cue afterwards, which he didn't bother to read. 7,300 complaints then flooded, and the owner, Sir Paul Marshall, declared his interest in buying Daily Telegraph, decided enough was enough. Wootton's frantic apologies and craven declarations that he thought Evans was brilliant proved insufficient in the face of GB News' fear of Ofcom and Marshall's bid for respectability. The Dan Wootton incident was an unfortunate accident waiting to happen when you hire people who have no knowledge of the Ofcom broadcasting code. GB News finally reacted properly over Dan Wootton, and you have to consider the channel's co-owner, Paul Marshall, is making a bid to buy the Telegraph. GB News itself is not making the bid, but Marshall does own a broadcasting license, so it is a cross-media bid, and there are significant regulatory hurdles. We don't think it's a slam dunk. We don't see Paul Marshall as risk-free bidder, and the seller will be aware. So look, that's the thing here, right? With a lot of this. Yeah, look, this is all very crazy to me because this is the man who posted this. This is the man who just confidently, with his chest, put it out there. How can J.K. Rowling be genuinely happy? Whoop, it's supposed to be there. How can he be genuinely happy to cast W.B. Depp in film? I moved my browser, and now I shouldn't have moved it because those stay there. J.K. Rowling is Hollywood hypocrite for standing by Fantastic Beasts star Johnny Depp despite allegations he blanked ex-wife Amber Heard. Today I reveal a backlash from the Me Too movement and demand to know why she's hell-bent on supporting Depp. Because Depp was innocent? You scumbag? Oh, but the rules don't apply when you're the journalist, right, Dan? No innocent till proven guilty when you're doing it. Nope, you get to just dump on whoever you want, whatever fits your narrative. But when you're called out, it's evil, dark forces. Got it. Got it. Johnny Depp's no victim of cancel culture. He spent years trying to cancel Amber Heard. Bullshit. This farce of a trial is designed to ruin his ex-wife, but won't erase the damning judgment against him. You bet on the wrong side there, didn't you, Dan? Because that blew up in your face. And now you can't even apologize because you'd probably be liable, because then he could come back and take that back. Dan, when are you going to finally come clean? Huh? Can you afford to come clean? No, because you're a fraud. That's the problem here. Who owns Dan Wootton? Highest bidder? And that's why it's so scary when you see this, that he and his lawyers are now able to threaten and get these sites to take this down. Like, this is shocking. Because they're afraid they're going to get sued. This is a publication that's reporting about allegations. Innocent until proven guilty. Everyone say allegations, but my God, I would like this if things are proven true, like they should go back and force Johnny Depp's articles to be adjusted. That's where this law should make sense. But this is wild that he's totally exploiting the law, using it in his favor to try to silence the press, which to me makes him look more guilty. I don't know about you. This is ridiculous. This is an overstep in my opinion, and I don't know what the hell he's thinking, and this doesn't look good. But there, I didn't know about this. UK, man, your laws are crazy out there. What's going on? What do you think of this? Does this surprise you? Does this make you think Dan is more innocent or guilty? What are your thoughts? We did report previously. It does seem like the end is now here for Dan, that they will not be calling him back, as reported by the Byline Times, who has the guts to keep standing by their reporting and not afraid of lawsuits, which is, I got to say, that's a confident thing. It's a confident thing. So we will see how this plays out. Again, Dan is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But in my opinion, the dude is a scumbag, doesn't look good, and he's a complete hypocrite. Complete hypocrite, the way he's treated people, and now expects the treatment he didn't give others to be treated him. What a bozo. That's the nicest word I can think of. PG. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash that like button as well, and let me know your thoughts on this. Do you believe Dan? Do you think he's still innocent? Does it make you believe him less? I want to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned for more reporting. So much more coming here on Popcorn Planet.